Yes, YouTube, hope that you're good. It's Ben Hawks, the Coach Consultant, and today I'm going to be covering why fitness coaches aren't making money and emphasis on the why, because that is all this comes down to. Business is sequential problem solving, which I say to a lot of people all the time. All you need to do is find the first problem, solve it, find the second problem, solve it, find the third problem, then solve it. And in my opinion, that is all this comes down to. But in order to solve a problem, you need to actually find the root cause. So a lot of the time people will mask over the top of it, or they'll ignore it, or they'll carry on buying. They'll be a few months down the line and wondering why they're not earning any more money. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be covering a 5 why example on why you are not booking calls, why your page isn't growing, why you are not generating leads. And then all we're going to basically do from that point is look at a step-by-step example of how you can actually find the root cause of why you're not booking calls, why you're not getting better content and better growth on social media, why you're not generating leads, which again is the reason why you are not making money. And again, all I want from this is I want you to come away from this video where you're thinking problems aren't problems, right? Problems are there to be solved, right? Problems aren't negative. But if you know you've got a problem, find the root cause of it, solve it, bang, progression, money. But if you do not know what the problem is, then that's when it's problematic, because you're like, why am I not making money? I don't really know what's going on. So what we're going to do today is we're going to really break things down. We're going to look at the nitty gritty. We're going to do an easy step-by-step example on the 5 why structure on Miro, and then we're going to get to a bottom of a few solutions. Before diving into the Miro board, what I want to do is basically look at how you change your perspective on what a problem is. So as I said earlier on in the video, isolating a problem is one of the most positive things that you can possibly do in business, because what you've got to imagine is a problem is almost like a 10-kilo plate on your back, right? If you've got loads of problems and you're carrying 100 kilo on your back, you're not going to move very, very quickly. But if we can take 10 kilo off, 10 kilo off, 10 kilo off, you're going to move at a much more rapid rate. And that basically leads to progression, earning more money and growth all around, right? But what people commonly do is they see problems as real big negative things when it's more often than not really, really small. So let's just say, for example, as a starting point, you have a problem, right? The first thing that you need to do is accept it, right? Business isn't perfect, people aren't perfect. If there's a problem, right, the worst thing that you can possibly do is think, right, I'm just going to ignore that, or I'm going to mask over that, or I'm going to find a way to cover that up. No, go straight to the point and try and address that situation, right? So the first thing is to actually accept, I have a problem that I need to be coming in and changing, whether it is content, booking calls, leads, sales, client management, retention, your personal confidence, your self-worth, whatever it is, you need to accept that problem as the first starting point. Right? From that point, you then move on to step 2, and that's actually understanding why that is a problem, right? So for example, if I do not book calls, I'm not going to make money. So I'm going to understand that, because when you start to understand it, you change your thought process on it, and it'll actually start to think about how you change your belief systems on how you actually get calls, for example. Right. The next thing is looking at the actual analysis aspect. So you're going to analyze that problem. Like, why is this a problem? Let's look at this from a bird's eye view perspective. Let's not try and just solve it straight away. Let's take a step back. Let's look at this. Let's really think about, right, why is this actually happening, right? Where is the gap? Where's the kink in the chain? Because that's all this will be. Then once you've isolated where the actual problem is, you then move into a discovery on solving that problem. So you don't just come in and just, right, I'm going to solve it straight away. Really think about the discovery on what's the best solution to solve this problem that we've isolated now. And then all you've got to do from that point is just solve it. But that's how you basically break down a problem. You look at it from a big perspective, you accept it, you understand it, you analyze it, you discover the solution, and then you solve that shit, right? And that's how you make progress. So what we're doing now is we're going to jump straight onto Miro. We're going to be looking at content, booking calls, leads as a 5 why example, and hopefully you'll get where I'm coming from, because again, all this takes is critical thinking for fitness professionals. And it's hard because when you come into the fitness industry, you've not got endless amounts of experience when it comes to business. Like, I've done this for 10 years, so I'm just used to problems. Like, problems are my day, like, or my week. Not as much anymore, but they definitely used to be. But for example, when we're coming in right now, I want you to be thinking a little bit more critically. I want you to be a little bit more calmer. I want you to be prepared for problems because they're inevitable. But most importantly is we need to find solutions. And to find solutions, you need to be looking at an easy framework to obviously kind of approach them. So that's what I'm going to do on this 5 why example, and let's find some roots to some problems and hopefully make a lot of progression. Answering the big question, why am I not making money in my fitness business? And remember, I've done this as an example on content, calls, sales, lead generation. So this can be used for any problem that you are facing in any way, shape or form. And like I've said, try to stress over and over and over again, do not look at problems as negative situations. Look at them as how you can find solutions. But again, most of the time, people will turn around and they'll go, right, I've got a problem. And all they do is they basically just focus on that problem and that problem alone. Whereas this is basically a really, really simple, easy 5-step, 5 whys. Basically, in essence, if you've got a problem, if you ask 5 critical questions around that problem and sequencing the next question associated with the previous answer, you will find the root cause of all problems. So what this basically means is, right, we've got a problem here. Why is that a problem? Right? Based on that, what's a reason why? Right? Based on because, why is that? So what we're basically doing is we're sequencing that section to that section, that section to that section, that section to that section, that section to that one. So basically, in essence, over the course of 5 questions, you should be able to get to the root cause of why, right? And that's what we want to do, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to see a problem and think, right, why am I not making money? Why is my content not growing? Why am I not getting leads? Why am I not getting calls? Why am I not getting sales? And just focusing on the problems. What we're trying to do is we're going to look at the actual root cause, and based on the root cause, we can then actually look at actionable structures. And remember, this is just an example that I'm going to show you here. This whole exercise is all about you going away and doing this yourself for the problems that you're facing, because the answers that you will give and the questions that you will ask will be hyper specific for your current situation. This is just a step-by-step example. Walking through. So I'll just zoom in. So as a starting point, right, why am I not making money in my fitness business? More often than not, guys, that is going to come down to the fact that you're not booking enough calls, you're not generating enough leads, and then your social media page isn't growing, so you're not reaching new audiences. So that's just the example that I've done this on. As a first starting point, ask yourself why that is a problem. You might think, well, I know it's a problem, why would I ask myself why? That's the first area that people go wrong. You need to start the thinking process of critical thinking and analysis and discovery by actually isolating, right, why aren't people actually booking calls? Because what that does is it will trigger a reaction in your head to actually start thinking a little bit differently away from it. If you are just focused on that pinpoint pain point problem alone, all you're going to think about is the pain point and the negative repercussions of that pain point. So, for example, it's like if all you are doing at this point is you're like, right, I'm not booking enough calls, I'm not going to make enough money, I'm not going to be able to live month to month, I'm not going to be able to scale my business, I'm going to be a failure. Right? You're not going to be able to look for the actual solution associated with that problem when all you're doing is you're focusing on that pinpoint area. By you simply coming in and going, right, why am I not booking enough calls? What that allows you to do is actually start thinking externally away from that problem. Sorry, Matt. So imagine that your problem's in a circle. We want to get out of that circle, just take a step back and look at it and go, right, let's figure this out. Let's find a solution. Let's find the root cause. And then once you've found the solution and you solve it, mint, right? But what you don't want to be doing is just trying to find, at this point here, I'm going to find an immediate solution. I'm going to rush it. I'm going to do a quick fix, because I can genuinely promise you there's nothing more infuriating in business than having to come back to try and solve the same problem over and over and over again when you could have solved it better the first time, right? So, and this is, again, really goes in line with the concept of what I believe in terms of actually doing it right and doing it right the first time, so you don't have to come back and have to clean everything up down the line. So I'm going to do a step-by-step walkthrough at first. So like I've said, just as a bit of a reminder, imagine that this is, we've seen Shrek where they're talking about peeling the onions back to get to the nice soft gooey bit in the middle. Imagine a problem is an onion, and in the middle of that onion is a piece of toffee. I love a bit of toffee in it also. So what we're going to basically do here is we need to go, right, this is the problem, which is the onion, because we don't want to be eating raw onion, right? So we're going to peel layer 1 off, right? We're going to peel layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and we're going to get to that nice sweet treat in the middle of it, right? That's how you need to look at solutions. It's layering the issues back by asking questions, getting micro solutions, getting to root causes, and then fixing that, right? That's all this comes down to. So let's do a step-by-step walkthrough. So as a first starting point, why am I not booking calls, right? So if you're not booking calls, the first easy answer is like, right, they obviously just don't feel compelled or interested to actually take that step to want to work with me or interested in what I'm doing. So what we do from that point is we take that, which is the major problem, into the question, this is the secondary problem now. So why are people actually not compelled or interested to take that step? So we're going to ask that question again. So we're going to do the same process again. Why don't they feel compelled or interested? Right? So because the answer is going to be that the offer or value proposition isn't clear or enticing enough, alongside having enough evidence to actually support it. So what we've done is isolated another subsystem problem there. Right? From that point, why is the offer or value proposition not enticing enough? Right? So if the offer isn't enticing enough, that means that it'll be coming down to communication, messaging, and obviously really focus on addressing people's direct needs and pain points, because that's how you create a stimulus, that's how you create a reaction, that's how you create a response. So then we're going to do is we're going to look at that point, right? Why isn't my message addressing their pain points or needs enough? So we're asking that question again to dive into the next one. So there's obviously a clear disconnect between the audience's actual concern and what's been presented, right? So why is there a disconnect between what's obviously being presented and the audience concerns, right? And then you come into that final layer now, so which is still not the root cause, but you just get in as much discovery as possible. So I'm not showcasing the value of my program enough, or alongside the pain point resolutions that will create confidence and to create obviously someone to want to take action. From that point, what this allows you to do is it allows you to completely come in and change your perspective and your thinking on what you obviously need to do. So once we've come to this final point, we know that the root cause is the fact that people are not booking calls because the message and the offer is not aligned to their pressing needs and motivations, right? Likely due to the fact that you've not done enough target market research, or again, you just need to evolve and adjust your messaging and your offer structure, or actually go back and really dive into your actual offer creation and its positioning associated with aligning it to that target market. That's all this is. If you can align your offer, your positioning, your message, someone's pain points, and everything else to your program and their needs, it's like the two magnets coming together. Right? While you are pushing content out, which is obviously going to create traffic and throughput, but you're not getting any type of buy-in, that basically means that you've got the opposite. You've got positive and negative come together and they're just rejecting each other like that. So what we've got to do is we've just got to, rather than getting stressed about people not booking calls, let's find the actual solution to it. Let's look back and go, right, sweet, where's the issue? Sweet, let's look at connecting them again. So what that means is the solution may be refining the actual offer, having a better understanding of the audience's decision-making factors, and communicating the value of actually booking a call more clearly alongside the offer, right? So again, that is just an easy step-by-step example of how you could be looking at why the fact that you are not booking calls, right? Another area for that could be, let's just say that you're like, look, my offer's mint and people say it is, and I've worked with people and or you've checked it with me or you've checked it with someone else or whatever. So another issue for not booking calls might be something to do with outbound. So you might start that first question going, right, it's due to my outbound. So this is why it needs to be really specific for you and your business. Right, coming to the next problem. Why am I not generating enough leads? Right? Why aren't people opting into my lead capture process? The incentive or the lead magnet isn't appealing enough. Right? Why isn't the lead magnet appealing enough? Right? It doesn't seem to be valuable or relevant to the audience's current needs, and that's why they're not buying into it. Why isn't it valuable or relevant? Right? Straight away, all we're doing is coming back onto here. It's like, right, there's a misalignment between the asset and addressing the actual audience's pain points. So all it is that positive and positive battery coming together. So we need to be looking at obviously addressing that and adjusting lead magnet so it is directly solving people's pain points and problems. So why is there a misalignment? Straight away, I haven't researched my target audience's latent conditions to understand why they will actually take action alongside building a higher value asset alongside with that. So the root cause is the fact that you're not generating enough leads or retargeting because the lead magnet or value exchange isn't aligned with what motivates the actual audience due to a lack of proper research or testing. And that is what that comes down to. The solution could involve revisiting the audience's preferences, testing different lead magnets, and creating more enticing offers to directly address their challenges or desires. So again, this is just an overview perspective, but all we're doing is we're looking at critical thinking to get to the root problem of what we need to be doing to solve that problem, right? Because again, problems are mint. I love problems. I tell my team and I tell my company, I tell my clients, don't come to me telling me everything's all good, and I love seeing wins and I love seeing stuff on that, but I'm here to solve problems. That's my job, right? You come to me with problems, I'll find solutions. That's where you're going to make lots of money. That's how you're going to see lots of success. And that's like an unwritten rule that I have in my business is like, look, I want to celebrate success and I want the positive stuff, but if it's just all positive all the time and there's no problems coming through, I know there's something wrong, because there's always problems. So my social page media page isn't growing. Why isn't my page growing? Right? It's not getting enough views or engagement. Why isn't it getting enough views or engagement? The target audience isn't interacting with it. Why isn't the target audience interacting with it? The content doesn't seem relevant or valuable to them. Why doesn't it seem relevant or valuable to them? The content may not be addressing the specific needs or interests. Why isn't it addressing their specific needs or interests, right? There's inadequate research of understanding the audience pain points and actually looking at what their content preferences are. So you may be coming in and creating incredibly high value content associated with addressing people's pain points, but you're not going in line with what someone's actual preferences are in terms of how they like to digest it. So what that basically means for you from that point is you can be coming in, you're like, right, sweet. So the content isn't resonating because of the lack of in-depth audience research and alignment to their needs. So basically with this insight, solutions could include doing a deeper audience research, And most importantly for me is actually looking at, right, is my content playing the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube game? Am I going in line with what this platform wants to push me to my people within my niche? And that's how we basically come in and obviously start solving problems, guys. But again, this is just an easy step-by-step example. The main thing that I want you to take away from this video is the next time you are faced with a problem, I want you to stop, because I know what it's like where you're like, oh my God, you get so angry and because you're so passionate and you get upset and you have emotional. I want you to take a step out of it. I want you to look at it and go, right, why is this actually a problem? And then what I want you to do from that point, if you write it on a whiteboard, do it on your notes, do it on a voice note, do it on whatever, but I just want you to take 15, 20, 30 minutes and just ask 5 questions in sequence off the back of that single problem. And I can genuinely promise you, you will get to a point of root causes. And when you have got root causes, you have then got actionables and you've got solutions. While ever you are focusing on solving problems and you're doing the work to find the root cause and obviously stop that being a problem, you'll be motivated, you'll be inspired. But if all you are ever doing is focusing on, right, why is this happening to me? I must be the only person this is happening to. Like, I have clients doing multi-7 figures. Like, you're talking 250, 300 grand a month. I have clients on £500 a month. I have clients on 2,500, whatever. Like, literally every financial gap that you could basically imagine, all of them experience problems. All of them. Every single person will experience problems. Every single business will experience problems. So the moment that you can come in and change your perspective on actually how to, one, look at problem solving with accepting, understanding, analysing, discovering and solving, you're obviously going to be onto a much bigger winner from that point, guys. Right, guys, so as a roundup, problems are positive. It comes down to how you change your perspective on them and also what you do in terms of actually looking for solutions. And if you find solutions, you've got unlimited scalability in business, in life and everything. So if you want to find out more information, a lot more detail on that type of stuff, then there's a link somewhere up in my bio. A lot of information on the S3 smart scaling system that we use to create hundreds of results. If not, no problem at all, but I would love it if you could like, if you could subscribe, if you've got any comments, if you've got any feedback, if you've got any ideas for new videos, then I can create on demand, and that's obviously what I want. So catch you next time.